Welcome to the Sophia Chang Show. I thought we were a fish, babes, and then you just pied me off. I feel like a mug. Ah, Love Island, the sounds of UK trash. For those of you who haven't heard of Love Island yet, start that 30-day Hulu, whatever they're offering. You got to get on this right now. It is the show, the reality show, that has spawned the American spin-offs, Temptation Island. Basically, you gather the trashiest people all over the UK in several of their countries, and you stick them in a villa in the middle of Spain. Actually, it's not in the middle of Spain. It's right near the Magaluf Strip. For those of you also not in the know of the people across the pond, the Magaluf Strip is known for, I guess it's a combination of Daytona and Vegas. So it's just wonderful. So they're stuck in this villa, and all they can wear are bikinis, of course. And they come in, the first thing they have to do is pick somebody to share a bed with. Isn't this amazing? Like, you literally come in and the show is like, here you go, sleep with a stranger. I have spent hours watching this show, and I say hours because they watch TV very differently across the pond. They have something called commitment. I know that's a word that we've never heard of in America, especially the younger generation. So you know what that is? Commitment is watching the same show every single night. So yeah, they air their reality TV, sometimes nightly, sometimes 3 times a week. And so I guess it goes a little bit slower, but don't you worry, it's chock-a-block full of drama. Now, the most amazing thing has happened. Audible has an Amazon company, obviously, has thrown money at Elinor Cook, who is this playwright, and commissioned this audio drama. And then they threw money to get Daisy Ridley, a Wren from Star Wars, to read it. And it's from the point of view of an islander, which is what they call the people in the villa, islanders. And it's just this wonderful high-low brow mix for pretentious people like me who love trashy shit. Now, this audiobook / audio drama / monologue is experimental in its very essence. And Elinor Cook employs a certain convention that has confused a lot of the listeners. Understandably. It's not something that we're very used to, and she plays a pronoun game. A lot of listeners wrote it off instantly and, 2 stars, 1 star, I don't understand this game. And that was really sad to see because it's actually incredibly brilliant. One Goodreads user, Lily, submitted a question to me, and I am so glad that she did, wanting to know more about this pronoun usage and what it was doing. So I'm going to go over it here. Because the crux of the pronoun switching happens towards the end, there will be some, I guess, spoiler, but I will try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. So Lily, this podcast is for you, and thanks so much for asking me this question, because I really hope that people listen to this. I love it so much. Okay. Islanders is written in a first-person point of view, but instead of saying I, Cook employs we. And when she says she or he, she uses they. So people got really confused, like, why are you saying this? So this is why. Now, when you're listening to this, and of course Daisy Ridley is a consummate performer, so she brings us really deep. It's a really deep point of view, and you feel like you are right there. So when you're listening, in order to get it, you have to sink into very, very audience mode. Like no thinking, no analytics, even though, that's always going. And you have to just experience what the narrator is experiencing. So for me, when I heard we, every time she said that, I got this feeling, this kind of dreamy, visceral thing, as if I was there with her. And I believe that is the point of the we. There were times where I forgot that it was just one person, and when she would say we, I would think, oh, it's her and a bunch of other people. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, it's just her. No, it's us. It's me. She's bringing me along. So you really sink down into this kind of subconscious space. And what it does is it conveys the reality of being on this claustrophobic, big brother situation where you're not allowed to leave this enclosed space. There are cameras everywhere. You're being watched. There are producers who are pulling the puppet strings, but you're kind of stuck in this. And even though you agreed to do this, there is this sense of giving up your freedom and this loss of personal identity. So that's why she uses we, because you are no longer a person. You are a part of this amorphous, bikini-clad automaton purely here for the audience's pleasure. And you can see this happening. You can see this psychological breakdown of the contestants. This is it actually gets very dark, and I believe this may be why she wrote it, because two of the contestants, this is real life now, two of the contestants have committed suicide after the show, and their friends who are on the show have, I say friend loosely, like we say Instagram friend, have complained that there isn't enough support for people once they get out. The weird onslaught of sudden fame, and then falling into obscurity if you can't keep that up. Cook is really showing us how something like that, how tragedies like that, and how psychological unspiraling could happen in this kind of environment. And it's very subversive, and it's also it's subversive not only in what she's doing, or obviously I'm reading into this, maybe I'm giving her more credit, who knows, but she also makes subversive spaces within the story itself. Like very early on, there's this off-camera place where somebody hides and she starts building a garden there, and it's her own thing, and it represents her ability to grow something that's entirely her own. They have so little control. They have zero control, right? They've given up all sense of agency and autonomy, but here is this garden that she is able to exert almost a godlike quality, because she's creating something that is just hers, that the producers don't know about. So it becomes this place of secrecy. But obviously, I won't give too much away, but obviously, do they not know about it? So you can you'll have to listen to it yourself. But okay, so here's where the pronoun switch happens, that I think I like almost started crying at the end of this. It was so powerful. Then again, I cry at everything. I cried twice during Encino Man. Okay, it was very sad. I really related to when he was trying to make fire in the National History Museum. That sense of displacement. I think a lot of people of color and people from the Asian diaspora relate to that. But anyway, this isn't about Encino Man. This is about Islanders. Now, on Love Island, there's always an episode towards the end where the contestants are given the opportunity to have a video chat, or sometimes even a live visit from their families. And since the Islanders are so young, a lot of them are still living with their parents, and so the parents come and everyone's crying and it's a big hullabaloo. And obviously a lot of them have, mated basically with somebody in the island, because that's the point of the game. And so they get to meet their future in-laws because everything's so crazy and accelerated. So in Cook's audio drama, she has the we character, receive a phone call with her mother, and it's so chilling. There's this moment where she just says to her mom, who am I? And her mom's like, what do you mean? You. And at that point, the pronouns switch. And suddenly we're back in you, he, she. She's a person again. It is so brilliant. I'm like angry at her because, as most of you know, for my senior thesis, I wrote a play and I started my career as a playwright. And I'm just like, damn it, I did so many experimental things that people love, but I never did that. So brava, Cook, you get my standing O for that. It was such a wonderful moment. It was so clever. And I suppose it was so subtle and I think that people are so unused to experimenting with things like that. And I definitely think that you get more out of it if you, when you actually watch the show, because, I love it so much. And this really gave me the sense of being inside the show and what it's like, the kind of creepiness of the experience. I just want to thank you so much for listening to the Sophia Chang Show, whether this is your first episode, which is a fantastic episode to start on, by the way, or you've been listening since day one in 2018. Without you, I would just be speaking into an empty room, which is really weird. You can help me out by passing this on to your friends, leaving a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen. I'm all over the place. I just want to thank you for listening.